Good morning. It's Sunday, I think the 27th, and it's about 8:30 in the morning, and it's already 90 degrees. These next couple of days are supposed to be excessive heat, so we're expecting temperatures close to 110 or more, and that doesn't sound pleasant. And the fact that it's already 90 degrees at 8:30 is not a pleasant situation either. But I do believe that July is forecasted to be a lot different. So maybe we will have some cooling. We're supposed to. I chose to start here because the cooler was so noisy last week. As you can see, a lot of my plants are not doing well in the heat. We put up a shade cloth for the sky pencils, and we even have a mister kind of set up for them. So that's what they look like. It's the hibiscus. It's getting big. I don't know if this one, yeah, we're getting a fairly big trunk on it. I had to take the coleus that was in the side yard. In fact, you can see there's some crisp leaves. You can hear how crisp those are. But it's got some new leaves forming. It was just, this is basil, cinnamon basil, but this was just cooking over on the side of the house, so I moved it. This guy's not doing too bad. I need to cut off some of the bad leaves, but it's looking pretty good. The pot around the bridge doesn't look bad. I mean, there's some things in the yard that look fairly decent, so I'm not gonna, with the amount of heat that we've had, I can't really complain too much. This is a coleus that I would have told you wasn't even gonna make it, and it's actually pretty. That's pretty. I got some dead in that mum. And it looks like me transplanting that calendula did all right. Cutting it back. Looks like it might be okay. The only thing I did last week, one night, was plant these basil that I had in little pots on the patio. So I did, and I was gonna take and remove the roots from these because they do have a root buildup from the trees, but I didn't do that. It was just too hot. So I know that these basil don't require a whole lot of room for roots, so I went ahead and just planted them out. Hopefully they'll drain, And then come this fall when the weather cools, I'll work on those pots. This is the okra that I planted, and it looks really good. Okra loves the heat. There's a orange gladiola that's appearing. I do like gladiolas. I just feel like this year they didn't stand a chance. They went dry almost as soon as they bloomed. I need to deadhead some of the cannas here. And I'm surprised that agapanthus still has some color on it. So maybe some other, I don't know. Doesn't look like any other agapanthus will bloom, but I have hope. These things got huge. These are Tithonias, Mexican sunflowers. So hopefully we'll be seeing some blooms. And then you can see they're kind of taking over where I planted the hibiscus. They're big plants. I trimmed some of the zucchini. I trimmed this one in here, just the bottom layer a little bit. Here's a black-eyed Susan that's winding its way up the pole. This is a butternut squash in the corner here, but I probably need to clip this. And then the beans are going across the This is I think this is a kabocha squash that's vining over underneath the okra. And then this is my black-eyed Susans. This one is too. They're struggling in this heat. And the stuff in this bed is okay. I lifted that last night to see if there was any fruit in there, and it's not doing too well. I mean, as far as fruit, we trimmed this zucchini a little bit. I mean, there's lots of growth on stuff. I will say that. I'll go over here. I think this is a pumpkin. It's my Kajari melon. But I do believe that that's a pumpkin right there. So that's kind of exciting. And then I do have some spaghetti squash that I will probably pick soon, like that guy down there. I didn't pick it last week. I was going to, because the vine behind it is kind of dried up, but there's still some green right there, and they said to wait until the stem gets hard or whatever, so it's kind of what I'm doing. So we've been battling birds. We put some cardboard in areas that were vulnerable. We put netting. I had to get a bird out of it already. And I'm hoping that it traumatized it enough that it will steer clear of it. They did get in there yesterday, so we put more clips across the top because we found that they were getting in through the top. So I've got lots of tomatoes in there, and hopefully they'll be allowed to ripen before without having to deal with the birds. I might let them have some of these. I don't know. Oh, see, they've already started eating on that one. There is a couple of trees over there with a bunch of nectarines, I think, on them. So I think that they might start leaving my tomatoes alone and start attacking that fruit that's in those trees right there. They were in here, so we put a netting around it. This is my Roma, and then this is a cherry tomato here. So, and then this little cucamelons are going crazy over here, the vines. And I believe this is either a lemon squash. Actually, I don't know what this is. I would have said it's a lemon squash, but it could be. Oh, those are all male. But it could be a zucchini. I don't know. I think this is basil. Yep, cinnamon basil. Tastes good. The lemon squash over here, it's got a new growth to it that looks pretty healthy, and there's some fruit coming off of it, but it seems like because of the heat it gets to a certain size and then they stop. So here's all my, still have some red vein sorrel there. That looks really pretty. I need to do something with that. I love it. I want to taste it. I haven't done that yet. Ooh, looks like something's been messing with this pot. Anyway, it's getting pretty intense with heat out here. I'm gonna get some zinnias blooming. This is kind of an experiment. We're just seeing what happens when the top of a tomato plant gets broken off from the wind. And then I left this weed just so that I'd have something in this planter. I think there are some, yeah. There's some. I think that's Santa Fe Grande peppers, so I'll be ready to pick those pretty soon. Nasturtiums, not doing good in the heat. My plan, I do have a plan, is to start planting some seeds inside, get them big enough, and then if the weather cooperates, I will be moving them out. This is pretty. The purple flowers for the peppers. So, I didn't get the whole bridge planted out. I still have 2 salvia over there. I moved these salvia into that over here. So the salvia that was around the bridge are in these pots right now. And we'll see how they do. I think they get a little more shade over here. But I got half of it done. Not the way I wanted to do it, but I feel good that I got half of it done. This is pretty. That's my garden diary. Today is Saturday, June 26th, and this is what we got out of the garden. A couple of cucumbers that weren't gonna make it much farther anyway. Don't know if they're edible. A couple of eggplants, some Estiva tomatoes, that's the big ones, and then the small ones are the 4th of July. And I don't have any netting on the 4th of July right now, that's why they're more yellowy orange than the other ones, because I can't leave them out there very long or the birds get them. And I got 1 purple Russian. The rest, well, that one probably didn't need to be picked, but it takes so much effort to get the netting off to get the tomatoes that if they're even getting close, I'm gonna pick them, because it's just that kind of thing right now. I got them caged. We had a bird in there the other night that got caught in the netting, and we released it. And of course now it thinks that, I guess, it can come back whenever it wants to.